the success that they had only came when they looked beyond the farmhouse gate, beyond the grower, and recognized that the power of the large corporate buyers was driving prices down and therefore exerting prices on the pressure on the growers, and the growers economized on the one vulnerable cost that they had, which was their labor force. And by using what you point out, the power of consumers, they were able to reverse that trend and to achieve these legally binding agreements with growers and buyers. And I'm the insider-outsider, so I can say I think it is a brilliant structure to have the buyers pay a penny more a pound and to stand behind a Fair Food Code of Conduct, not stand behind it aspirationally, but stand behind it with legally binding agreements and cut off their purchasing power when those standards are not lived up to. And the growers are forced to implement that code of conduct and to pass along that wage supplement. So what would you expect from a worker social responsibility model once the victory has been won? You would expect a code of conduct that's not generic, but that was written by workers itself. And we can talk about the provisions, but I know some of my colleagues here have pointed out the issue of labor subcontracting and contracting. The code, because workers knew the importance of that, the code makes the grower the direct employer. No more labor contractor, no more confusion. The grower must put workers on their payroll, be responsible for them, for their wages and their well-being while they are on the property. So there is no confusion whatsoever there. The code covers everything from the complaint mechanism right down through work environment, health and safety, and wages. Then you have worker education on those rights that is as deep and broad as possible. Every worker, before they set foot in the fields, gets educated on their rights. They know where to call. They know they can call the Fair Food Standards Council if they have a complaint. And all of that happens on the clock on grower property. I don't know if I can talk about our monitoring model. You tell me when I'm out of time.
Well, why don't we do that in the second go-round?
Okay.
That's okay.
So I just will then mention, in closing, just say that there is an intensive monitoring process between the worker monitors and the Fair Food Standards Council, and all of that is supported by prompt and serious market consequences. And those are the elements of the model. Sustainability.
Yeah, how do you fund this? How do you keep going?
So the business plan for plan for the Fair Food program is that in every new agreement from participating buyers that are now coming voluntarily, by the way, with no campaign whatsoever, to the program as our employers of conscience, people who want to see transparency in their supply chain, they will be paying for monitors as for this monitoring work as time goes on. Up to now, there has been a substantial emphasis on foundation, as you had pointed out, but that is the model going forward, and that is the future, and we will be in 5 states this summer and a new crop by the fall. So it is beyond the $650 million tomato industry with its tens of thousands of workers. It is definitely growing and moving towards sustainability.